Merci. Merci Julien, merci à toute l'équipe Monster Energy. Allez donc 13 minutes, le début de la séance qualificative du championnat d'Europe 125.
Hello everybody and welcome to our live studio show here on MXGPTV.com with me, Paul Malin, and Lisa Leyland, where today's guests are Giacomo Garibaldi from HRC. We've got Simon Langefelder and Calvin Verlandren coming in as well. And it's round 12 of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of France. And we're at a brand new venue, La Capelle Marival. So before we go anywhere, Lisa, is it me or is it a bit frowsy in here? We've got little midges and mosquitoes in here.
There's a few flies flying around you, Paul, for some reason. I'm not sure why. Yeah, but it's frowsy in here, but outside it's quite nice, isn't it? It's like so cute and very French countryside-like, and I'm liking it here so far.
Brand new venue.
Yeah.
We've been lucky with the weather, I would say.
Yeah.
Very, very lucky. Oh, how's that chocolate on the jeans, by the way? Is that frowsy as well? Anyway, let's crack on with the show. Giacomo Garibaldi, Team HRC, Team Manager, Team Owner, is with us. Good to see you, Giacomo. Brand new venue for the GP, first of all. You've been here before, though, back in 2009.
Yeah, for the European Championship with Christophe Charlier. And we were winning the championship, and I think we had a very muddy race here. And we had an issue with the engine, I remember. So we didn't win at this event, and the following one, we had to wait.
And you won the championship that day. But let's crack on. Just in general, the season in MXGP this year has been something of a roller coaster, lots of ups and downs. What have you made to the racing overall, you know, with all of the kind of protagonists?
I think it has been a very exciting season this year. We had the 5 protagonists of the MXGP, all racing except, for some injuries, but they came back, all of them. And we've seen some very good racing, many different winners every time. And also all the riders, the top 5 in a few points, they're playing for the title. So I think it's one of the most interesting seasons so far we've seen in the past 5 years, I would say.
Well, let's get on to Tim then. Obviously, began the season as a defending champion, and obviously still leading the championship. But when he turned up in Orléans and got off to the perfect start, you must have all been very, very well prepared at that point. You must have been pleased with how the season began.
Yeah, you know, at the beginning, he didn't know what to expect from the season, as usually when you start the season, and so he went very relaxed out in Russia, and he won both races quite easily, I would say, and everybody was so excited. Then I think he started to put some pressure on him, and at every GP you could see that he was having the first moto was quite difficult, and the second one was the perfect moto for him. So he was maybe doing P5 in first and winning the second. And the whole season has been a little bit like this. So, you know, it's a lot of pressure to keep the red plate on your bike, and he knows that he's the only rider for HRC this season, because as you know, Mitch is out for the season. And so he knows that he has to carry all the weight on his shoulders, and he did some extraordinary races, I would say, and he had then that big injury, the collarbone, and he was able to come back just after 8 days. That was really unbelievable, because I don't think we have ever seen something like that.
Well, we'll talk about that in a moment.
Yeah.
I mean, from Orléans, like you mentioned, he has remained consistent, but there were a couple of rounds, Italy, Belgium, where he did struggle. You did mention the pressure, but was there anything else going on?
No, not really. He was absolutely well. He was training well at home. Just, I think he was expecting, you know, to win every time he was going out. And when you do like that, I saw at one point that he was not enjoying racing anymore because he was putting too much pressure. So I said to him, Tim, just go back to what you like to do. So enjoy your riding, don't think about the championship, and play with your bike. And so he did it after that, and he found, some more wins after that 2 rounds.
Well, he did lead the championship until Sardinia, where he picked up his injury. Just how impressed were you with his performance in Riola?
I think, nobody expected he could race there because he had a surgery and quite big surgery to fix the collarbone. But I knew that he's a fighter because I remember in 2013 MX of Nation in Latvia, he could race one moto, the qualifying, with 3 broken vertebrae and handling the pain, the terrible pain he had, and then at the night he was in the hospital, he couldn't move. So I knew that for a collarbone for him was something he could handle, even 8 days just after the surgery. But for sure, it has been a lot of work to prepare him for that race, and the fact that he could collect 15 points was absolutely great.
Well, obviously, missing the Motocross of Nations was a blessing in disguise, I guess, because he could get healthy. Yeah. And, we saw him come back with a win in Germany last week. That was a big win, wasn't it? Basically, after what happened previously.
Yeah, and especially that he went on the bike just twice before Germany and after Riola. So just easy 2 days training, and because he didn't want to use and push too much with the injury. So it was great to see him back on the winning ways,
Well, what impressed you most, Giacomo? Was it his ride in Riola or last weekend in Germany?
No, I would say, in Riola he made something exceptional because I don't think any rider would have raced in those conditions. But in Germany, we've seen again the top geyser we see when he's riding free and when he wants to win.
Okay, well, you touched upon it a moment ago, Mitch Evans. What's the latest on him? How's his recovery going?
He had a check a week ago. He's still in Australia, back in Australia. So he had a check, and the doctors say that everything is going very well. He could resume riding in about a month or so. So the season is over, of course, for him, and we just wait for him for the test at the end of November when we start testing the new bike.
Okay.
Obviously, we've got about sort of 30, 40 seconds left. We are in a very, very busy run at the moment. We still have, 7 races left. How is that going to be for you to manage and for Tim to manage and everybody in the team? Because obviously it's going to be a difficult period for everybody.
Yeah, it will be. We have many races in a short time, so now it's just a question of not making mistakes. And I think he will win the rider who will make less mistakes than the other ones. So we'll try to keep Tim happy and relax and go out and enjoy his racing. And I'm sure if he does this, he will win again this year.
All right. Well, look, Giacomo, wish you all the best, and Tim, of course, for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.
And, of course, he's just regained the red plate last weekend in Germany, so see if we can keep hold of it this weekend.
Thank you, Paul.
Anyway, our next guest is in, getting ready to talk to us. So before we meet Simon Langefelder, let's take a look at some highlights from MX2, Race 2 a week ago in Germany.
All eyes over on the right-hand side of the gate as the riders face down the start straight. It was Tom Bial last time, and he gets another good getaway there. But so too does Maxime Renard, who's got plenty of space. So too has Beneston. Looked like Kaider Wolf just got sat up mid-corner there, but he's still there in, 3rd, 4th position. And it's Bial. Kaider Wolf in 4th, Thiago Hitz 5th, Hoffer 6th, but he was alongside, I think, one of the Gas and Jed Beaton. But it's Bial, Renault, Beneston, Hitz, De Wolf, Beaton. So, Beneston down over the bars. Just scrubbed his way inadvertently. And he was lucky not to get hit by other riders coming this way, but he gets beaten up by his Monster Energy Yamaha. Hoffer gets better drive around the outside and does find his way past Kaider Wolf. Not a good day for Roman Mostak, and in the end, 10th in race 1, no points on the board in race 2. There he is, the 198. but almost 3 abreast as they hit Monster Energy Mountain. And Guadagnini! Wow. Talk about risky. Gets alongside Langefelder again. This time he does find a way through successfully. So Guadagnini then up into 8th place. Harup around the outside of Guadagnini though. Goes the long way round, manages to put his F&H Kawasaki right where it needs to be, and all of a sudden, Harup up to 8th. Not sure if Jed Beaton realised Hoffa was that close, but he certainly caught him napping going into that turn 4 just before the entry to pit lane. Charges down the inside. Comfortable pass in the end for Hoffa. Tom Vial makes it win number 8. 5 Grand Prix wins for the year, his 4th in a row. Vial won the Grand Prix from Renault and Hoffa, although it was later deemed that Vial did not respect waved yellow flags. The result was overturned, so Renault went 3-1, Vial won 3, and Hoffa 2-4. Renault now leads the championship by 85 points over Jago Hirt. Guadagnini 3rd, Beaton 4th, Vial 5th.
Welcome back to our live studio show here on MXGPTV.com with me, Paul Malin, and Lisa Leyland, where our second guest is now in to join us, Simon Langefelder from Team Diga Procross Gas Factory Racing. And good to see you, Simon. Let's just talk about your season. You're 11th in the championship in MX2 at the moment. How would you describe your season overall to this point?
Yeah, it started pretty good. I had 2 good first races, and yeah, in the mid part of the season, I would say I had a bit of a down, but now I got better. At the home GP, it was again a good race. 6th in the first race, a little bit with problems in the second one, but still managed to get 11. So yeah, I'm happy to get finally a good race again, and hope to keep it going like this.
You mentioned the first 2 races were probably the best ones, to start with. Obviously, Matterley was the best one with a 6th and a 5th for 6 overall. How good was it for you to get that good, solid, consistent performance that day? You must have been pleased with how everything went.
Yeah, for sure. Matterley was awesome. I felt so comfortable on the track. It wasn't so deeply ripped, so you had more easy places to pass other guys, and yeah, I really like this kind of tracks because at home most of the tracks I ride are the same. So the track was just fitting my style and I could show off.
Yeah, I mean, you look really good. Really good.
Well, since then you've been mainly around, I guess, the 10th place mark with your race finishes. Is that where you expected to be, or do you think you perhaps could have been doing better in your first full season? Yeah,
I went into the races not with any, into the season not with any top 10 or so. I was just trying to give my best at all the races and to see where I end up, because the first year I was racing, I was always like, now I want to be top 10, and then when that didn't work, I was a little bit down, and it was hard for me to find the motivation and to keep on going and do everything good. But this year I just went into it, tried to give my best, see where I end up, and after Matterley you for sure think, like this we can keep going. And so I always give my best and try to get at the end of the season maybe 1 top 5 finish overall, and that would be my goal.
Okay, well, after your knee injury last year, did you use that time at all to reevaluate your training program? Did you make any changes and have time to think and regroup?
Yeah, after last year, I was starting to work with the Red Bull APC in Austria. The trainers and people there really helped me a lot, getting my legs into shape again and my whole body. I was really happy to have them around me. So the training program was really different. I was training with Jules Metz on the bike, which also was a good improvement for me. And we kept working good over the winter and tried to keep my riding easy and no mistake free, which is, I guess, really important for me to not crash, because that makes so much seconds away that easily. But I think now I'm on a really good level and hope to have some good starts and show off.
Cool. Well, look, last weekend, Teushenthal, I think, was your first home GP as a Grand Prix rider. I'm sure you've raced there many times before. How were you feeling going in? Were there some extra nerves because all of a sudden, you know, with some performances that you've had this year, maybe the German fans expected something more from you? So were you a little bit nervous going in?
Yeah, for sure. It was my first home GP. I was racing the 125 there, the 2019, not the year before, and it was good there also. And I was going in knowing that I like the track, I like the deep ruts, and I had so good starts then, also from position 15, which I was really happy about. And for sure, so many fans were there. It was completely a different level to make so many pictures, but it's also really nice, and I enjoyed it a lot. Having so many guys there with the chainsaws, and it's so nice.
Yeah.
Well, actually, in that first race, you were third for the first few laps. You said you had a good start. But did you use that atmosphere from the fans and the support, knowing that they were all cheering for you?
For sure. Always when I jumped at one jump, where all the Germans were standing, you were like, come on now, all in again. And for sure, it was a really big booster. And I was just really happy about how it went.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, unlucky in race 2. Sorry to bring that up, but it was a broken gear shifter, wasn't it? Just tell us what happened there.
Yeah, I jumped the finish line jump. I always struggled a little bit into the corner there because you had so many big bumps and ruts going around. So always I was a little bit nervous on that part. And then especially there, I was going into the corner too fast. And yeah, then it was my mistake. My foot went under the bike, was twisted a little bit, and then I was just lucky to not crash, and then the shift lever was away. But I can't understand how I could ride the whole race in third gear, but that was so good actually.
Shows how good the gas is.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know, but for sure I never thought I could race a race with one gear.
Yeah. Well, look, finally, 6th and 11th that day for 7th overall. Does that now put you in a good space? Like you said, you want now to be a top 5 finisher before the end of the season. A result like last week, that could put you in a good direction.
Yes, for sure. My fitness got also better for sure through the whole season. You always improve a little bit, and now I feel really comfortable on the bike, and I think this is a good goal I have.
All right, well, look, Simon Langefelder, thanks for joining us in here today. All the best this weekend and for the rest of the season. Not so many races now. We should be finished sometime in November, so, you know, not too long left. But look, that's Simon Langefelder. Calvin Villanonen is coming in to join us in a moment. But before we catch up with him, here's some highlights from MXGP Race 2 last week in Germany.
Here's how the riders line up. Jeffrey Hurling's not a problem. Davide De Carli said that Jorge Prado had some kind of laceration, some kind of cut somewhere, and just looking down the grid, doesn't look like he is going to line up for race 2. Of Romain Febvre, who looked like he grabbed the foxhole shot. Guys, 5th to 3rd, into 2nd, just on the downhill alone. Gets alongside Jonas, has to go hard and deep into this turn. That's exactly what he does. Again, slightly different line around here. Trying to force the issue, and he may just find his way up the inside, and he does. very close to the top blocks there. He leans on Febvre. Not going to go through there, though, and he runs him off the side of the track. This is where he made the move in race 1. Exactly the same move in race 2. And Geiser leads for the first time. And that will be the championship leader's red plate right there. The race win if he stays there, and the overall victory as well. Oh, and Koldenhoff just ran into the back, just couldn't avoid. And that was an easy pass in the end for Paul Jonas. Tim Geiser will win race 2. He will win the German Grand Prix. He will take over the championship leader's red plate as well as we head to France, round 12.
Yeah, I'm super happy. I mean, like, I don't know what to say. Just like 3 weeks ago, it happens, you know, like I broke my collarbone, and now, you know, like 2 races back, 3 weeks back, we are back on the top. So I'm really happy. The season is still really, really long, so I will try to be consistent, try to heal my injury completely, so I can be 100%.
Welcome back to our final part of our MXGP TV studio show here, round 12 of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of France at La Capelle Marival. With me, Paul Malin, and Lisa Leyland. Our final guest is in from Gebben van Venrooy Yamaha, and that, of course, is Calvin Verlanderen. Calvin, good to see you, and nice hair, by the way. It looks amazing.
Thanks. I actually went to the hairdresser this week, so I knew I was coming on the studio show. I had to look good.
Nah.
The first thing he said when he sat down, put the headset on, was, "My hair look good." So, yeah, compliments to the hairdresser. Look, beginning of October is where we're at the moment. We've still got 7 rounds to run. It's going to be a hectic run towards the end of the season. How are you finding it so far?
It's been an up and down season for me. Definitely better than last year. I'd say more experience. I feel like I belong there in the class now. You know, the belief is there. I know that I can run up front, and I have the speed to do that. It's just yeah, it's not so easy against the factory bikes, of course, to get the start and to, you know, when you're up there in the start, it's a lot easier in the race. So that's been the main thing this year, is the starts has been letting me down, but I know that my speed is there, and I believe that I should be there. So,
well, it is your second season in MXGP. Is it getting any easier in any way? Because last year you kind of came in and was like, well, actually, this is tougher than I thought. So has it got easier for you, even though it's probably still pretty difficult?
I wouldn't say easier. I've just kind of, yeah, been working. I don't say it's working harder. Just it's experience.
Yeah.
You know, it's all experience, and each race for me just little bit less nerves. I feel like yeah, the riding has been good this year. I feel like I've been inside my speed should be inside the top 8 all the time. Just haven't been able to really show that. Yeah.
Well, everyone's talking about the intensity in MXGP, but when you're battling up in, you know, up at the sharp end with the likes of the Tim, the Romans, the Jeffreys, the Tonys, do you feel that intensity, and what's it like?
That intensity is insane. The first couple laps, it's something that you can't really describe. It's like you need to make decisions, like split decisions, and that all comes with experience, you know. Like the more you start up front, the more you get used to that intensity. The first couple laps, I'd say the first 10-15 minutes is where everything kind of happens, and then the last bit is kind of everyone like not cruises around obviously, but kind of settles into the pace and stuff like that. So I mean, this MXGP class, you have to be fit right until the checkered flag. You can't back out the last 2 laps or something like that, because there's a guy behind you who's wants to pass you. So that's the difference I found to MX2 to MXGP.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's always a learning process in MXGP. What have you learnt this season, do you think, that you can benefit from next year? Or have you even started implementing any changes already from the learning process?
What I've learnt a lot. It's just mostly, you know, how to set up a bike is really important in MXGP, you know, and the feeling you have with the bike, for me, is very important. And MX2, it was more like you have to have the fastest bike possible. And MXGP, it's more like what bike suits you the best. I mean, I think everyone knows how to ride a bike in MXGP. First top 20 riders are all good riders, so it's about the little small percents that make a difference on the track, and being comfortable on the bike.
Well, there have been some races this year where you've shone. You've sort of like top 5, top 6, 7. But there was one particular round this year where you kind of stood out. That was Sardinia. 2 fourth place finishes. Where did that performance come from?
It's always been there, really. It's honestly always been there, and should have been happening already in the beginning of the season, but it's just the start that's been letting me down. That was the biggest thing in Sardinia. I had 2 pretty okay starts. I was lucky with having a good time practice, and could kind of sneak in the first corner. I mean, it's when you're up against the factory bikes, I'm pretty much on a standard bike, so out the gate, when you're in that soft sand, the factory bikes just kind of pull out, you know, so that's always been the biggest letdown this year's starts. I feel like if I'm up there, like you see, if I'm up there in the front in the beginning, I can run that pace, I can pass the guys. It's all about the start.
Yeah, and obviously to finish 4th in race 1, you go back and you kind of think, you know what, there's a chance I can make the podium here, or, you know, was there any pressure there? You know, because to obviously do it one time, but then to go out and do it again, kind of guess validated, you know, what you just said. It was always there.
Exactly. I didn't put pressure on myself I didn't even think about the podium, to be honest. I was just happy with the first 4th place, and I wanted to just do it again in the second moto and to prove it wasn't just a fluke or something like that. So it was nice to back it up in the second moto and to go 4-4. But I wasn't like surprised or shocked, because I know that I should be up there most weekends.
Yeah.
Well, sorry.
It felt good to be up there, let me just say that.
I bet.
Well, I was going to say, has this performance sort of shifted your mindset as we head into the final few races? I know earlier you said you feel like you belong in the class now.
Last year was tough to get used to the class, like to really feel like you're part of the front guys and that you belong there. So this year I definitely feel like I belong there a little bit more. And, you know, having Riola the results like I did, it definitely made that a little bit more. But now, you know, the expectation for me is to do this every round. So I put pressure on myself, but I don't have pressure from the team or anyone around me. So I know what I should be capable of doing, and I know what I am capable of doing. So I'm trying to just, you know, replicate that race and put that into the last couple of GPs.
All right. Well, look, more from Calvin in a moment, but just give you a quick idea again on MXGP TV and the benefits of it. So don't forget, the best place to watch MXGP TV uninterrupted and commercial-free is right here on MXGPTV.com. Of course, we've always got MX2 and MXGP, but this weekend we see the return once more of EMX 125 and 250. They're picking up from where they left off in Germany a week ago, and you can always guarantee fast, furious and frantic action with those guys. So make sure you join us either live or on demand on MXGP TV this weekend. Calvin, back to you. Brand new venue here, La Capelle. It might not be the sort of the Ernay and the Saint-Jean d'Angely. It's a very different kind of racetrack here. Have you raced La Capelle before?
I've raced here one time. Last year, beginning of the season, there was a pre-season race. So only one time being here. And the track looks pretty similar to when I was last year. So, like you said, not the spectacular Saint-Jean d'Angely or Ernay, but it's still a nice racetrack, I think. And it will be an interesting race tomorrow.
How's the dirt? Because looking at it and looking around, it looks quite sort of shaly, almost Udevalle maybe, or something like that. Just stony, kind of sandy.
A little bit stony, yes. I do think it will form some nice deep lines. Hopefully not just one, hopefully a few.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's quite tacky and you have good grip. So.
And obviously from now to the end of the season, what are the plans? Top 5s, top 6s, if you can? Yeah,
that's the plan. I think the top 5-6 guys are a little bit realistically a little bit faster than what I am, and just to be outside, I feel like I'm between that and the 7 to 18 kind of guy. So if I can get inside the top 10 in the start and then battle for top 8. That's my goal.
Cool. Well, look, Calvin, thanks for joining us. All the best this weekend and for the rest of the season. And with that, we are out of time, apart from to say that join us live at 1:05 when we are back on air today with the first EMX 125 race. And as you can see there, the schedule, EMX 250 race 1 is also following that at 1:55, and then 3:05 and 4 o'clock for the final 2 races. And then, of course, we're back tomorrow, 9:30, with MX2 time practice. So thanks for watching. Enjoy the race, and we'll see you next week when we do the studio show all over again in Spain. See you then. Bye for now.